Hi everyone, welcome to Houston Baptist University's Psych 6301, Principles of Human Development. Warning, these are not thorough and complete coverage of all the information you need to know, so make sure you read the textbook and watch any other videos that are assigned in each module. Module 3, the preschool years. Alright, in Module 3 we're covering Chapters 7 and 8 in the Erfurt textbook, with 7 covering physical and cognitive development, and Chapter 8 covering emotional and social development. All this for the preschool years. In the preschool years, physical development slows. In toddlerhood, remember how fast the children were growing and how different each month was even. Well, it's finally slowing down a little bit. And it's important to remember that there is a wide variety in size, rates, patterns of growth, developmental abilities, and so on. We call this variety individual differences, and these differences might concern parents, but in general, physical development is dependent upon experience and environmental exposure. So the more a child is exposed to different things, the better off they will be in learning to cope and adapt to the things they find in their environment. So we see significant growth in gross motor skills, such as riding bikes, running, these are the big body movements. Health is generally good, with the big problems being diet-related, not brushing teeth, so cavities, obesity, this sort of thing. Children at this age need to be watched very carefully, as accidents are the leading cause of death in the preschool years. Physical development. Screenings begin during the preschool years. About 1 in 833 children have some type of vision impairment. About 1 in 1,000 have some sort of hearing impairment. So possible clues that a child has hearing loss that a parent might notice would include visible frustration or anxiety, responding inconsistently or inappropriately to speech, slow language development, not turning towards sound. These are the things that might indicate a child has a hearing problem. Sleeping habits are important, as sleep is absolutely essential for healthy development and growth. A bedtime routine helps them to get the sleep that they need. Some children may want a security item, like a security blanket, a teddy bear, something like that, and that's okay. As they get older, they will need it less and less. It's important to note that there are 2 stages of sleep, the NREM, which is the non-REM or rapid eye movement. It's quieter, slower breathing and heart rate. And then there's also the REM sleep, the rapid eye movement sleep, which is similar to waking states with eye movement and increased brain activity. This is believed to be when we dream. Cognitive development. We'll look at Piaget here. Make sure you watch the video on Piaget's pre-operational stage so you understand the limitations of the pre-operational mind. It's not that they're stupid, they just have not quite developed into the concrete operational stage and so on. So children learn by creating schemas, which are patterns of understanding things. You all have a schema for how things work when you go to McDonald's. You don't go sit down and wait for a waitress to take your order. Right? You know you go to McDonald's, you go to the counter and you order. That's a schema, how things work, your understanding of how things work, or what things are. So a child might see a dog. Mom teaches the child the word dog, and then everything is a dog. The child will assimilate any new animal that is similar to a dog, would be assimilated into the dog schema until he's corrected. If a child sees a cat and says dog, and mom corrects the child, saying, no, that's a cat. It says meow. Then the child has to accommodate this new information by creating a new schema or a category for cats. So children in this stage are egocentric. Now, the word egocentric sounds awful, but it's really not a bad thing when you're in preschool to be egocentric. It simply means that they are not capable of understanding that different people have different perspectives. Make sure you watch the YouTube video on egocentrism so you don't think that egocentrism is a bad thing. All right, cognitive development and Lev Vygotsky's theory. This theorist he created the sociocultural theory. In this theory, cognitive development is all contextual and relational. We learn by interacting with other people, according to Vygotsky. His best-known concept is that of scaffolding and the zone of proximal development, which is also called a ZPD. So the ZPD is the difference between what a child can do on their own without assistance and what it can do, what the child can do with the help of a more experienced other, MKO. And scaffolding is the process in which the MKO helps someone go beyond their current level of understanding to attain the new level of knowledge. All right, information processing theory is a fascinating theory. It compares the mind with a computer, with sensory memory being compared with input devices, your mouse, your keyboard, and so on. The human working memory is compared with your processor of your computer, the RAM of the computer. And long-term memory is compared with storage or hard drive. And all the responses to the stimuli are compared with the computer output. It's a very interesting model. Read it carefully. It is also an excellent way to understand or describe human memory. Language development. Preschool children learn roughly 9 new words every day. And by the time they are 6 years old, they have a vocabulary of about 14,000 words. As they learn the vocabulary, they're also learning the rules of grammar. Multilingual children are amazing in their ease of language acquisition. They may be slow to produce language, but be patient. A multilingual child is learning 2 languages, maybe even more, with all of the different vocabulary, all the different grammatical rules, all the different sounds, and they're trying to figure out when to use which language. Give respect to these bilingual, multilingual children. All right, there's so much more in the chapter, so please make sure you read the text thoroughly, reach out when you have questions, and read over the feedback that your professor is providing so that you can do better each week. Learn from your mistakes. You can totally do this. So glad y'all are here for the ride. Bye-bye.